July 1st, 1961, Sandringham, England. A baby girl was born into British aristocracy. Her name was Diana Frances Spencer. No one could have predicted that this shy, insecure girl would become the most photographed woman in the world, challenge the British monarchy, and die at 36 in a way that would shock the entire planet. This is the complete story of Princess Diana, from her traumatic childhood to her fairy tale wedding, from her struggle with bulimia to her revolution of the royal family, from her secret affairs to her tragic death in a Paris tunnel. This is Diana's life. All of it. The good, the bad, the beautiful, and the heartbreaking. Diana Frances Spencer was born on July 1st, 1961, at Park House on the Sandringham estate. She was the fourth child of Viscount and Viscountess Althorp. But Diana's childhood was far from happy. When Diana was 6 years old, her mother Frances left the family. Frances had fallen in love with another man and walked out, leaving Diana and her siblings behind. Diana watched her mother drive away and later said, "I remember Mummy crying and packing her bags. I thought it was my fault." The custody battle was brutal. Diana's father won, and Frances was painted as an unfit mother. Diana rarely saw her mother after that. This abandonment would haunt Diana for the rest of her life, affecting every relationship she ever had. Diana was sent to boarding school at age 9. She was shy, struggled academically, and failed her O-levels twice. But she was kind, empathetic, and loved children. She dreamed of being a dancer or working with kids.
In 1977, 16-year-old Diana met Prince Charles for the first time. Charles was dating Diana's older sister, Sarah. He barely noticed Diana. She was just a teenager, shy, awkward, and completely unremarkable to him. But 3 years later, everything changed. Diana had blossomed into a beautiful young woman. In 1980, Charles, now 32, and under pressure to find a wife, encountered Diana again at a house party. This time, he noticed her. Diana was working as a kindergarten teacher in London. She was sweet, innocent, and seemed untouched by scandal, perfect for a future queen. Charles began courting her. Diana was swept off her feet. She was 19 years old, in love with a prince and living a fairy tale. Also, she thought. What Diana didn't know was that Charles was still in love with Camilla Parker Bowles, his former girlfriend, and that this fairy tale was about to become her worst nightmare.
On February 24, 1981, Prince Charles proposed to Diana. She was 19, he was 32. She said yes immediately. But 3 days before the wedding, Diana discovered something devastating. She found a bracelet Charles had commissioned for Camilla with the initials F and G, Fred and Gladys, their nicknames for each other. Diana confronted Charles. He dismissed her concerns. Diana wanted to call off the wedding, but it was too late. The invitations had been sent. The world was watching, and Diana was told, "Your face is already on the tea towels. It's too late to back out now." On July 29, 1981, Diana married Prince Charles at St. Paul's Cathedral. 750 million people watched worldwide. Diana wore an ivory silk taffeta dress with a 25-foot train. She looked like a princess from a storybook. But Diana later said, "I felt like a lamb to the slaughter. I knew the marriage was doomed before I walked down the aisle."
The honeymoon was a disaster. Charles wore cufflinks from Camilla. He spent hours on the phone with her while Diana sat alone, crying. When Diana tried to talk to him, Charles said she was too emotional. Diana quickly became pregnant with William, but instead of bringing them closer, the pregnancy made things worse. Diana developed severe bulimia. She was vomiting multiple times a day, losing dangerous amounts of weight. Charles was disgusted. "You're making yourself sick on purpose," he told her. "Stop being so dramatic." Diana begged for help. She went to the Queen and said, "I need to see a psychiatrist. I'm not coping." The Queen replied, "We don't do that sort of thing in this family." William was born on June 21, 1982. Diana loved him desperately, but Charles was already distant, spending more and more time with Camilla. In 1984, Harry was born. Charles's first words when he saw his second son, "Oh God, it's a boy, and he's got red hair." Then he left to go riding. Diana was alone,
bulimic, depressed, and trapped in a loveless marriage with 2 young children and a husband who had resumed his affair.
By the mid-1980s, Diana was the most photographed woman in the world. Everywhere she went, crowds gathered. People loved her warmth, her compassion, her humanity. Diana revolutionized the royal family. She hugged people with AIDS when others refused to touch them. She sat on patients' beds in hospitals. She held hands with the homeless. She cried publicly and showed genuine emotion. "I want to be the queen of people's hearts," Diana said. And she was. But behind the scenes, her marriage was disintegrating. Charles openly returned to Camilla. Diana found love letters, intercepted phone calls, discovered secret meetings. Diana's revenge was brilliant. She became more popular than Charles, more popular than the Queen. The people didn't love the monarchy, they loved Diana. And that made her dangerous.
In 1992, Diana made a decision that would change everything. She decided to tell her story. Working in secret through friends, Diana provided detailed information to journalist Andrew Morton for his book, Diana, Her True Story. She recorded hours of tapes describing her bulimia, her suicide attempts, Charles's affair with Camilla, and the palace's cruelty. When the book was published in June 1992, it was a bombshell. The palace denied Diana's involvement, but she had told the truth, and the world was listening. The royal family was furious. Diana had broken the ultimate rule. She had gone public, and for that, they would never forgive her.
In 1977, 16-year-old Diana met Prince Charles for the first time. Charles was dating Diana's older sister, Sarah. He barely noticed Diana. She was just a teenager, shy, awkward, and completely unremarkable to him. But 3 years later, everything changed. Diana had blossomed into a beautiful young woman. In 1980, Charles, now 32, and under pressure to find a wife, encountered Diana again at a house party. This time, he noticed her. Diana was working as a kindergarten teacher in London. She was sweet, innocent, and seemed untouched by scandal, perfect for a future queen. Charles began courting her. Diana was swept off her feet. She was 19 years old, in love with a prince and living a fairy tale. Or so she thought. What Diana didn't know was that Charles was still in love with Camilla Parker Bowles, his former girlfriend, and that this fairy tale was about to become her worst nightmare.
After her divorce, Diana seemed happier. She was dating Dodi Al Fayed, son of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed. They vacationed together in the Mediterranean. Paparazzi followed them everywhere. Diana was also doing her most important charity work. She campaigned against landmines, walking through minefields in Angola wearing protective gear. The images were powerful and brought global attention to the cause. "I want to do, not just to be," Diana said. She was finding her purpose outside the royal family. But the palace was still watching. They didn't like her independence, they didn't like her relationship with Dodi, and they especially didn't like that she remained more popular than any of them. Diana told friends, "They'll never let me be happy, they'll never let me be free." August 31st, 1997. Diana and Dodi spent the day in Paris. They had dinner at the Ritz Hotel. Paparazzi surrounded the building. At 12:20 a.m., Diana and Dodi left the hotel in a Mercedes, driven by Henri Paul. They were trying to escape the photographers. The car sped through Paris toward Dodi's apartment. At 12:23 a.m., the Mercedes entered the Alma Tunnel. Henri Paul was driving at 65 miles per hour. Paparazzi were chasing them on motorcycles. Inside the tunnel, something went wrong. The car swerved, hit a pillar, and spun out of control. The impact was catastrophic. Henri Paul died instantly. Dodi died on impact. Diana's bodyguard was critically injured, and Diana was conscious but gravely injured. "My God, what's happened?" she whispered. Those were her last clear words. The paparazzi arrived at the crash scene within seconds, taking photographs instead of helping. An off-duty doctor tried to stabilize Diana, but her injuries were too severe. The ambulance took 40 minutes to reach the hospital, a 10-minute drive. They stopped twice to treat Diana. She was fighting for her life. At 2 a.m., Diana arrived at Peter Salpêtre Hospital. Doctors worked desperately to save her. They performed emergency surgery on her heart. But at 4 a.m. on August 31st, 1997, Princess Diana was pronounced dead. She was 36 years old. The cause of death? Internal bleeding from chest injuries sustained in the crash. Charles flew to Paris to bring her body home. Diana's sons, William, 15, and Harry, 12, woke up to learn their mother was dead. The world went into shock. The people's princess was gone. The world's reaction was unprecedented. Millions of people mourned Diana as if they had lost a family member. They had never met her, but they felt they knew her. Outside Kensington Palace, flowers piled up, mountains of them, teddy bears, cards, candles. Thousands of people came to pay their respects. But the royal family remained at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. No flags at half-mast, no public statement, nothing. The public was furious. "Show us you care," demanded newspaper headlines. The royal family's cold silence contrasted sharply with the nation's grief. Finally, 5 days after Diana's death, Queen Elizabeth returned to London and made a televised speech acknowledging Diana's impact. On September 6, 1997, Diana's funeral was held at Westminster Abbey. 2.5 billion people watched worldwide. William and Harry walked behind their mother's coffin. Harry was just 12 years old. Elton John performed "Candle in the Wind" with rewritten lyrics for Diana. There wasn't a dry eye in the world.
Diana's death changed the world in ways no one could have predicted. She changed the royal family. William and Harry grew up determined to honor their mother's memory. They're more open, more emotional, more human than previous generations. They speak about mental health. They hug people. They're Diana's sons in every way. She changed how we talk about mental health. Diana's openness about her bulimia and depression helped remove stigma. She made it okay to ask for help. She changed humanitarian work. Her landmine campaign led to international treaties. Her AIDS activism helped change public perception. Her work with the homeless brought attention to invisible people. She changed what it means to be royal. Diana showed that royalty could be compassionate, accessible, and real. She touched people, literally and figuratively. She was the people's princess, and no one has filled that role since. 27 years after her death, Diana remains one of the most beloved figures in history. Books are still written about her. Movies are still made. People still leave flowers at the gates of Kensington Palace on the anniversary of her death. Why? Because Diana represented something rare, genuine compassion in a world of protocol, real emotion in a family of stiff upper lips, humanity in an institution built on distance. She wasn't perfect. She made mistakes. She could be manipulative, dramatic, and difficult. But she was also kind, loving, vulnerable, and real. And in the end, that's what people remember. Not the Princess of Wales, not the royal title, not the scandals or the tabloids. They remember Diana. Just Diana. The shy kindergarten teacher who became the most famous woman in the world. The broken little girl who grew up to change the world. The people's princess who died far too young, but whose impact will last forever. Diana Frances Spencer, July 1st, 1961, August 31st, 1997. Gone, but never, ever forgotten.
This was Princess Diana, from her broken childhood to her tragic death, from the girl nobody noticed to the woman nobody could look away from aristocratic child to global icon. Her life was short, just 36 years, but her impact was enormous. She changed the royal family, changed public discourse about mental health, changed how we think about compassion and service. She was flawed, human, real, and that's exactly why we loved her. Diana, the people's princess, forever.